What happened to that person back in high school whose pictures accidentally got leaked in social media and then got super humiliated and then never heard of them again? Or whose comment got taken the wrong way and then they were totally trashed about it? Well, today we're going to talk about public shaming. The question that I'll be answering today is public shaming really necessary in American society today? And my response to that is no, I don't think it's appropriate nor necessary, because people focus more on shaming rather than on forgiving. Number one, public shaming brings unhealthy emotional effects. Number two, and sharing, spreading, commenting hateful remarks just don't get us anywhere. This is an important issue because people have actually taken their lives from so much hate speech. And also in the adult world, sometimes they just do one mistake and it ruins their whole reputation, and it affects even their jobs. They get fired and then later on they have difficulty in finding another job. So yes, it is a very, very important issue to talk about. For those of you watching this, some of you may have been publicly shamed, some of you may not, but I believe most of you have at least seen a celebrity been publicly shamed, or an ordinary person being put into the spotlight of social media, being totally trashed. I also assume that many, if not all of you, have social media or access to the internet and know how to use it and have read or watched a video about a humiliating circumstance. But wait a minute, why should I even keep watching this video? Why should I believe this girl? Well, I am a 2000 baby. I have been exposed to the internet and basically social media my whole life. I have Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, and I am also a student at San Diego State that has been researching this topic for quite a while now. For Aristotle's checkbox, I believe, as seen in class, I am respectful and a well-rounded social person. And for logical evidence, I obviously plan on utilizing relevant information that supports my position and disproves a counter-argument. So that pops a check mark on that box. For Fox's checkbox, it adds on goodwill, and I'm gaining nothing from lying to you in this video, so my goal is to make a successful and straightforward argument and convince you of my particular opinion on public shaming. For this next box, I'll be using my own experiences. I'll be borrowing statistics like comparing number of YouTube views and other forms of evidence from well-selected sites, and I'll also be using common sense throughout my argument. Lastly, there isn't a point of making an argument that nobody is going to understand, right? So I'll be making sure to satisfy the criteria throughout my video today. Now that I have established my credibility and I have demonstrated that I am fit to talk about this topic, let's dive in. For this first point, I'll be using the time when Steve Harvey mistakenly crowned Miss Colombia as Miss Universe instead of Miss Philippines. I want you to notice the comparison of the number of views the apology video has compared to the videos that talk about the mistake. So this first video is an apology video which has 600,000 views approximately. This video of Miss Colombia responding emotionally about the incident has 3 million views. And the original video of the incident has around 5 million views. So again, for the apology video, it was 600,000, and for the videos that talked about the incident were 5 million and 3 million respectively. And what those numbers demonstrate is that social media users will focus more on looking at what the person did wrong rather than what they did right, which was apologizing and owning their mistake. So again, public shaming is not necessary in American society today, because if an individual faced the public again and said, "I'm sorry," that takes courage and true repentance, which leads to no need for public shaming anymore. The author of Shame, A Concealed, Contagious, and Dangerous Emotion by Dr. Mary C. Lamia, graduate of California School of Professional Psychology, mentions the more scientific side of the feeling of shame. I paraphrase, "It is contagious because people usually attack others due to the surge of emotions such as rage, anger, sadness, and disappointment, which brings the snowball effect." Her studies also revealed that the feeling of shame brings self-consciousness and doubt about oneself's abilities and intelligence. And going back to answer the question whether or not public shaming is necessary, well, no, it only brings unhealthy effects. There is no point in doing it. It only brings harm to society rather than good. My boyfriend also wanted to jump into the conversation, and after I shared my findings about public shaming and how I established my position already, he said, well, what about if public shaming is necessary? Maybe the person did something extremely wrong and maybe they don't end up getting a fair consequence, and public shaming helps with the magnitude of the punishment. And so I made more research. I did more research, and I found various accounts of public shaming in the CNN article by Todd Leopold, The Price of Public Shaming in the Internet Age, from people that used to be ordinary people, regularly popular in their community. And he shares, do you believe in forgiveness? Do you believe in second chances? Of course you do. Everybody makes mistakes. To err is human, to forgive divine, right? Now in the age of social media, take Victor Paul Alvarez. In January, the Boston Reporter wrote a brief news story containing a bad joke about John Boehner. The wrath of social media fell on his head. Despite an apology, he was fired. 3 months later, he's still looking for full-time work. And this goes back to my position of considering public shaming as not necessary, because the fact that nobody can control the magnitude of how much it will spread serves my position, because there is no fair amount of exposition of the situation, and if there is no control over public shaming, then there's no point in considering it necessary. People lose their jobs even though they apologize, like this past example that I demonstrated in the CNN article. He still apologized and is still struggling and looking for work and getting a job. This goes beyond my RWS class. This goes to all the internet and social media users, because I can guarantee that most have committed a mistake on the internet, and hopefully they have recognized it, learned from it, and hopefully not committed the same mistake again. So this should be the cycle that we should be following. What I want you to remember from this video is to say no to public shaming, because people pay more attention to publicly shame rather than to forgive. Public shaming brings unhealthy emotional effects, and sharing, spreading, and commenting hateful remarks are never going to be the solution.